Hello everyone, Snipe Trading here. Today is Friday, April 9th, and I'll be going over my recap for today. So today, I also decided to size up today, and you can see much bigger swing profits and swing losses. So I'll be going over that, and I guess the topic of the day was scaling up and also training your emotions. So since the swing P&L is a lot bigger, so we gotta train both your emotions and as well as keeping your strategy intact. So let's start with the recap. So TENX was my biggest winner here of 819. You can see I kept my losses small relative to my wins. So I end up green for today, which was total of 184, covering most of the loss here. So 10x, let's start with that. So 10x I was short bias here in terms of the hourly extension. So you can see with this 211 area, which was the prior support level, all the way over here. You can see it was supporting at these levels. So I sized in a few right before the crack there. But the first signal here that I got was, so I was actually away this morning and I didn't trade much in the morning, but there was a signal here that I missed. I came back right around like when this cracked. So this would have been a nice signal. You can see this trend line, draw this trend line, had a nice inverted cup and handle. So this would have been the first spot. And this was the kind of retest of support become resistance. I went ahead and sized in there. I usually don't short the pops that often, but if I do see like a nice trend break and inverted cup and handle, I would look to re-add on that retest of that trend break. So it became resistance here, went back down towards the 211 area, took some off there, and then when 211 couldn't crack at this moment, I went ahead and just took it off there for a profit of like $200 or so. And then later on, it tried to pop up. It had a fail flag. So you can see this flag here fell. And I went ahead and looked for a short because if a fail flag didn't have enough momentum, then there's not enough buyers in there to push the stock up. So I was more short bias, and as well as the hourly extension. You can see the hourly is way down here at 205, 204s. And I was looking for a potential 211 break. And this is where I went ahead and looked for another trend line. So here's the trend line of this one. And that's where I started my short there at 10,000 shares. So we went ahead and short that, retest pretty much that area, the break, and when it couldn't hold higher and was consolidating on this 211 and felt weak, I went ahead and add more with a total of 15,000 shares there at 211, and it cracked, covered some at 209s and covered most of them at 207, 208 area. I was looking for maybe a retest of 211 to re-add. I didn't really get there, so I didn't have a re-add there, but it went to retest the 205, 204 area here, which was the hourly, and you can see it just bounced right off of it. So that was a $819 win. This was like a $600 win here and a $200 win here. So great trade here on TENX. Next trade was ODT. ODT was a nice extension as well on the hourly chart and the 15-minute chart. So I went ahead and saw this double top going towards higher day towards an extension. So I went ahead and looked for this fail flag. You can see a flag there. It failed to push. I went ahead and short, covered right on this wick. There was a re-add there potential for a move lower. But went ahead and just took this off at 290s here, and I just took a small short break of that. I felt it was a little bit extended given this wick here. So I went ahead and just kind of moved on from there. But that was a quick $70 win there on ODT. Next trade was OCUP. OCUP was also a 1 minute short scalp. Pretty much just a 1 minute break. You can see the inverted cup and handle. Took that short, pretty much retested the 5 minute on VWAP there, and I just took it off there. Went up giving another pop towards this, testing as resistance. Support become resistance right off the cup line. Reshort opportunity for the next leg down. So that was a $45 win, just a quick scalp there. Next trade was AMRS. So AMRS was a $32 loss. And for this, you can see it had a had a flag break, which I took off from my early short here. So I was looking for a inverted cup and handle here. It somewhat put a lower high and then held that high. So I went ahead and took it off for a short there, or for a stop there on the short. I was looking for the 15-minute test. If had it breaking this 15-minute test would have been the target here. But eventually it kind of popped up and went higher from there. I did have a little inverted cup and handle here that I was keeping my eye on, and that would have been a decent trade, but I didn't take it. So that was AMRS. Next trade for $136 loss was PRTK. So PRTK was a little tricky. It took a few losses here, and I think I overstayed or didn't take my profits. But you can see there's a trend line here, lower high, and inverted cup and handle here. Went ahead and took that short. I didn't take any profits here, which was a mistake. I usually take some profits, but ended up just kept scaling in, hoping for this to become resistance after this break of support. I ended up curling here, a higher low, and I had to take a stop there for, I think, for $150 loss or so. And then the reason I was short biased was because the hourly was also extended. I was looking for a retest of 770. So just looking for that. Later on, towards the end of the day, it also had another opportunity here. I took another stop loss right here, and then I re-added a bunch of short here, and I was looking for this 790 to crack, but it ended up not cracking, and also due to low volume. Yeah, addedly, probably same chart. It's pretty ugly. But I was looking for the 790 to crack, and the 775 was the target. It didn't really crack there and kind of held up, and pretty much towards the end of the day, I just kind of covered the rest there. But yeah, that was a $136 loss on PRTK. Next trade was AFMD. So AFMD, I had the right motive. I was looking for this hourly reversal. If you look at the hourly chart, you can see the hourly chart had a inverted cup and then a little handle here. So it broke momentarily there, but it had a little bounce that stopped me out. I had the right idea, just a little bit, maybe a few minutes too early. But you can see there was a nice trend line. Let me clear some drawing. So you can see there's a nice trend line here. And you can see lower highs, getting really tight. And it broke here. So I sized in quite a few here. And I got only filled 300 shares. So it was pretty unfortunate that I didn't have enough orders out here. Wish I had more orders. But it broke this momentarily. You can see that wick, big candle. And it filled 300 shares of mine and pretty much just popped back up. And I took a big loss here, like $200 loss. Had to stop out, and then I think later on it stopped the shorts out there, created another inverted cup and handle, and that's where it went down from there. But it ended up trailing back up. and I was trying to look for an after hour squeeze. So it looks like it might still squeeze after hour here, but there was a potential flag break here. So I went ahead and kind of took that long after hours for a potential squeeze. It might still go, given that it's giving more lower highs here. But that was just a quick trade. Maybe I'll watch it a little more later, but potentially it can squeeze here if $10 breaks for like $11 move. But yeah, definitely this had a daily breakout, and it's a little bit extended right now, but we might see a pullback in the next coming days. So that's AFMD for a $240 loss there. Next trade, which was my biggest loser of 341. So here, I think I was short buys here because it was extended on the 5-minute chart. So you can see the 5 minutes up here, 15 minutes down here. So I was looking for like a 10-cent target, risking like 5 cents. But it ended up squeezing me out much more than I expected. So I took a bigger loss because today I sized in a little bit more aggressively today, and you can see it broke inverted cup and handle, broke them momentarily, and yeah, the pattern I'm seeing is if you see these type of wicks, usually it's like if it breaks at the level with a wick, usually it's pretty bullish, or I should stop out soon, because that's what I've been seeing lately on at least on my strategies that I take. But it ended up squeezing here. I was looking for a 550 stop. I ended up stopping at 555, like 5 cents more at 5,000 shares or 7,500 shares total. I stopped 550 there, and I was looking for an earlier stop, but definitely a bigger stop than I anticipated. And I was looking for that inverted cup and handle. You can see lower highs, and then break of that. And looking for the 540 on the 15-minute chart. Ended up squeezing me out there and taking a $340 loss. So that's FBIO, and yeah, you can see I've only profitable, less than 50% of the time here, but I end up making a big win here on TENX to end the week green here. Still no red days this month, so I'm gonna try to keep that. So yeah, so that's my end of day recap, and if you enjoy this content, make sure you hit the subscribe and like button to support the channel, so I can continue making these recaps and going over my thought process on how I made these trades. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.